Hi everyone, it's John Mitchell, and in this video we're going to look at the maintenance phase. We've been through in previous videos the establishment phase, so this is still the employment cycle. And so the establishment phase was looking at building or establishing the relationship between the organisation and the employee. And now that we've done that and we've got, hopefully some really good employees into the organisation, it's time to use the maintenance phase, which is trying to get the best out of the employees, making sure that they've got the skills, the knowledge and all those type of things to do their job really well and do it efficiently, so we improve productivity. And also, hopefully, as I said, the establishment phase has worked really well and we've got really strong employees into the organisation. What we want to do then is retain them, so we don't want them going elsewhere to other organisations. And so, think back to, all this is interrelated, think back to motivation theories and things like that. We want motivated employees, and so that's part of the maintenance phase, is to ensure that we have job satisfaction and motivating employees so that they go the extra mile and achieve really strong objectives. As well, that helps reduce staff turnover, absenteeism, all those things with employees. So we want to actually get really strong employees into the organisation, which is the establishment phase. Now we want to retain them and make sure they're working effectively and efficiently. So the actual stages or strategies or steps, whatever you want to call it, into the maintenance phase are induction, training and development, recognition and rewards, and performance management. They're what the next series of videos are going to be on, and this one is obviously on induction. So an induction is the process of familiarising new employees with the organisation. Just think, when a new employee comes into an organisation and they begin work on day one, often there's first day nerves and they're a bit anxious and nervous about things. They're not sure how to do their job properly, so therefore they won't be as productive as what they will be if they've been in the job for a period of time. So an induction is about getting them familiar with that, familiar with their job, with their co-workers, with the organisation as a whole. So new employees, it's really important that they need to learn about the organisation. It might be their history, what they stand for in terms of their culture and their shared values, what the organisation wants the culture to be, so that the employee is really embedded into that culture from day one. They also need to know, practical things in terms of, how to actually perform at their job. What are the steps taken in order for them to be successful at their job? They need to meet their workmates so that hopefully they can build strong relationships. They need to know who to report to, why, when and how do they report to the person, who are they responsible for. All those types of things are really important to be part of an induction. So an induction can be a really formal process, or it can be a very informal process. Formal in terms that, there's a real structure to it, or informal where, it could be just quickly showing the employee around the organisation and introducing them to their manager. So either one is, a different way to go, but often what the research shows is that a really effective induction, one that's done really professionally and is really effective in terms of showing them how to perform at their job, what the actual values are of the organisation. That's really important in terms of the culture. It can actually lead to higher productivity. Just think, if you're a new employee and you're taught how to do your job really well through an induction, and you've got some time during an induction to actually practice that, then that's going to improve productivity quicker. You're going to be better at your job faster. Also, positive attitudes. It can, there often will be a positive sort of environment in terms of how the employee feels about the organisation if they walk through the organisation and get a really good start. Really, this is what it's all about, is getting a really good start, and it can lead to job satisfaction. So that's what the research shows. It also shows that really poor inductions can result in low motivation, because the employee doesn't really know how to do their job that well, so they feel uncomfortable from the start, and that can obviously result in high staff turnover, especially within the first 6 months, showing that a poorly done induction can result in turnover quite quickly, so the employee can often leave very early on in the employment relationship. So it's important that an induction is done really well and really effectively. So just to give you an example of an induction, this example is on Zappos.com. Those that they've heard me before will hear me talk about Zappos a lot, because really they do this so well in terms of their recruitment and selection in the establishment phase, but also in terms of their induction. It's a really strong induction that they do. Very formal induction, and those that don't know, Zappos, they started off selling shoes online. They now sell lots of different things, but that's pretty much where they started. But they built their company on culture, and so what they did, part of it was their culture is their number one core value is around customer service, delivering well through customer service. That's what they've based it on. There's lots of people lots of organisations that sell shoes online, and they're one of them, but they're one of the most successful ones because they have the best customer service in the industry. Now, what happens is that no matter whether you are an employee that's going into customer service and answering calls in the call centre, or whether you are an accountant or someone in finance, whether you are in the warehouse or shipping area, or whether you are in the office area, it doesn't matter what type of employee you are, every single employee goes through the same 4-week induction. Okay, so it's a very structured, it's a long induction. Not all inductions go that long. Some inductions might only go for an hour, some go for a day, some might go for a week. This is a 4-week induction process. Now what they do this, similar things to other organisations in terms of show them around and get them used to the work that they'll be doing, so that they might take them to the office they'll be working in to show them how to actually perform in their job. They'll put a tour, give them a tour around the place to show where the tea room is, where amenities are, all those types of things to make sure the employee knows where to go. They also spend time going through their core values. They've got 10 core values that they need to go through, and so again, embedding them in the culture. But what also happens, even if the employee is never going to work in the call centre again, every single employee during this induction spends between 1 and 2 weeks in the call centre answering calls from customers. Now, the reason for that is because that's what they've built their company on, is customer service. So they know, and they want every employee to know what they've built their company on and how important customer service is to them. And so that they know the customer call centre, that they are the most important employees in that organisation, because they're really delivering that wow through customer service. And so every employee, no matter what they do, even if they'll never be in the call centre again, they have to spend between 1 and 2 weeks in the call centre. Now, after that induction, every employee is offered $5,000 to leave. That's especially relevant to the people in the call centre who are delivering the customer service. What they do is, after the induction, this is embedding them into the culture. So by offering them $5,000 to leave, after the induction, they're paid for their 4-week induction plus $5,000 if they leave the organisation, never come back. That gets the employee to think, is this an organisation I want to work for? And it might be no, I'll take the $5,000 and go, and a small percentage do actually do that. However, what most employees do is go, well, hang on, this is a place that I really believe in. This is an organisation that I want to work for, based on the core of it. So it's embedding them into the culture, so it sort of weeds out a little bit those that are there for a paycheck, and it gets people there that believe in the organisation. And as a result, you have a whole group of people that have the same shared values and experiences in the organisation. And as a result, they work really well together. So that example is, I just don't want you to think that an induction is just showing the employee how to do their job. That's really important. Don't get me wrong, that is really important. However, what also is important is trying to really let them know about the culture of the organisation and embed them into that culture. So just to recap, an induction is about getting employees familiar with the organisation and their job. So looking at things like culture, policies, work tasks, what they'll be doing day to day, their responsibilities, who are they responsible for, who are they responsible to, introduce them to managers and co-workers. It helps reduce first day nerves, it can improve job satisfaction and retention. So an induction is a really important process or strategy that organisations can use. If you ever have to discuss it, one of the drawbacks is that it takes time. It costs money, so it can be a really expensive process to put every employee through an induction process. It takes a lot of time. You can see there 4 weeks. Not all inductions go that long, but it takes time to actually do that. So there's some of the drawbacks, but the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks according to the research. So for questions, activities and more on this video, then come on over to teachingbubble.com.